about that all day. Does Heather Dubrow coming back have anything to do with it? She thinks it's a lot.
Because I could see Heather being like, I will not be associated with this. I could see her having her
100
being like, she's a liability.
And Heather has said on this podcast that absolutely she did not say that. I am not a producer. I do not have that. Fine, we get it. But I mean, they wanted Heather back at that time, period, the end.
We all wanted to see the house. I wanted Heather back too. I know you get to have the best conversations. I'm like, the fact that I get to sit here and chat with you, you get to chat with everybody. I feel special to get to have a chat with you after you've talked to everybody.
I mean, listen, I judge people based on how they are here, and Heather Dubrow 2 for 2 has been nothing. Yes, there's a microphone and a camera and all that, and I get it, and people know how to turn it on, but I don't know. We're lawyers, Emily, and we can read through all that BS. And I'm sorry, Heather was great to me twice, so I'm just gonna go.
Why are you saying I'm sorry? That's your experience.
There's a lot of people that are like this and that about Heather. I'm like, I don't see it. Yeah, she has a ton of money, so I mean, I would be like, I'm rich. Sorry. Right?
I have a champagne button. I mean, look, the thing that doesn't affect the absorbent or extraordinary wealth doesn't offend me with Heather. It doesn't. Like, you see how they worked. You see how much Terry works. I'm not offended. That's how she wants to live her life. And part of Housewives is that peek into this life that or it used to be, this peek into this life you can't even imagine. And that was literally the whole point of Housewives. We want to see rich people shit, and we want the craziness. And that's what I love about Gina so much on the show, is her being like, can I just move into your bathroom? Like, somebody needs to be the voice of the audience. And I loved Gina walking us through that and being like, there's a champagne, but like, I can't fathom this life. And
right.
I've loved that so much about bringing Heather back on to Orange County, is you get to see this peek into how people live that you never get to see, really. It feels very MTV Cribs, but on Bravo for me.
I agree. And I mean, I think it's also, I think Heather's just, look, there's a lot of rich people who are sloppy and they don't have Heather just has that OCD type A. And so she just makes it look easy. Like, you could give someone, like, as Luann says, money can't buy you class. There's a lot of rich people that Heather's just good at keeping it all together in a well-run house, and everything needs to be, that's just her thing. I mean, I'm jealous. I wish I was so organized and rigid, and like I am, but then everything falls apart by like 12 and I'm like, this place is a freaking mess. Like,
where you need your assistant to take care of the rest of it, and the chefs from Nobu to bring in the amazing.
Exactly. And yes, it does help that Heather has a gazillion people doing a gazillion things, but she's still good at it.
She is good at it. She makes it look easy and effortless, and she always it is, again, aspirational television, but that's not what we were talking about. I've sidetracked. The champagne button always gets me. The etched tree. We needed the house back. We needed to see the rest of it. So
that, and then we'll go back that opening scene where she walks in and they show the heels and I'm back. I mean, I told her this. I was like, I just like was screaming at the top of my lungs. It was such a good scene. Like, it was
perfect.
What was I going to say? No, but Kelly. So right, Kelly says, she has reasons off the show, and Kelly says, like, I don't understand it. They employ criminals or alleged criminals, and I'm fired. So her argument is always like, Erika has a job, Jen has a job, but I don't. Teresa has a job, but I don't. Like, is there a double standard? Like, is Bravo the liable ever for anything that these people do? Like, is there any risk?
I think Bravo's held responsible to their audience. I don't think Bravo bears any risk. I think the women bear the risk of what's caught on film and what's known. I mean, when you see the bankruptcy trustee knocking after Erika's ring and earrings, they know a lot of what she possesses because of how much of her life's been filmed on the show. We see, Jen Shah struggling to explain exactly what she does and being like, oh, we own the algorithm that does this and this and that. It's lead generation. Well, it kind of is lead generation, just not strictly in the legal sense of the word. And so I think the women bear the risk more than Bravo does. I mean, Bravo's like, we're capturing it on film. If you subpoena us, here's the film. But they're not, I mean, at the end of the day, if the audiences are still watching, I think that's how Bravo's making their decisions.
Yeah, that's like what I always say. People call for this one to be fired, and this. I'm like, let me tell you, Bravo's not listening. Like, they're not firing Erika Jayne just because you're pissed off, and you're still gonna watch. And you could hate her all day, like you say. It's like hate watching.
Which can't be fun for her to experience. But again, they gave a four-part reunion to Beverly Hills, and Erika's on, social media being like, why is there a 4-part reunion? Oh yeah, me. She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. That's where the rumor is she got more money a little bit for that whole reunion, which I agree. She needs it, and I would want the money. It is going to be interesting on Salt Lake, though, just to see the women, Meredith. I mean, I know Meredith, I've had her on, but like, she's all about like the truth and equality. Like, it's just, I wonder if this season we're going to see a different thing once she pleads guilty, even though the season is kind of well and wrapped, and now they're kind of extending it, of just like, we all kind of went to bat for you. Like,
I imagine there can be a feeling of betrayal, and it's always, I think it's tenuous for the women to talk about, because social media is going to say, look, there are victims of these crimes that have been very much impacted. This isn't about you. But it also is happening to the women on the show, where they feel betrayed by someone they know, and they are on a reality show. So if they believed Jen, and I think some of the women absolutely are like, we believe you. We believe you. It's, it's a witch hunt. They're coming after you. And then to have her turn around and plead guilty, especially if they didn't have a heads up. And close in time on social media, they had just been standing up for her on social media and saying, we're supporting her, Jen's going to trial. And then like a day or two later, it's like Jen Shah pleads guilty. I imagine that would be tremendously embarrassing and frustrating to be like, wait, I'm putting, my neck out for you on social and saying, you have the right to a trial, innocent till proven guilty. I'm here for you. And then you turn around and plead guilty. Could you have given a girl a heads up? And it'll be interesting to see it play out and how the women deal with it, because it's going to catch them off guard to have someone saying, no, I did this, when you really believe them and thought that they didn't. And that will be an interesting dynamic. And we've seen it play out with Andy too.
How so?
On his podcast, and on, he was like, I made a statement, I'm kind of caught off guard. It's different when it's, someone, and they're protesting, this is not me, I did not do this. And then they turn around and plead guilty. It catches you off guard. So we're watching humans have human experiences. And I think that's what we're going to see in Salt Lake.
Totally. Final few questions. Who do you think is next? We had the shocker. We had, who's next? Who's living? I mean, I have my own answer. I mean, I've already been blocked for my own answer, so I might as well just
wait. What's your answer? I don't know what your answer is.
I would have said Mary Cosby, but she's off the show. So like, I think Dorit and PK have a house of cards over there in Beverly Hills. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Then I see PK pulling out Melissa Etheridge, and I'm like, maybe there is more than just Boy George. And maybe PK is like a really big deal that does a lot of things and is really one of these like LA Reid guys that's truly connected in the music industry and legitimately has a ton of money. I don't understand it. That's just me. I don't understand.
Dorit and PK are still an interesting bunch. I don't know. I think everyone's going to have, when you get into these businesses, there are going to be civil things, and we've